One of the longest holdouts in the Galleon Group insider trading scandal has finally given in. Danielle Chiesi pleaded guilty in a New York federal court yesterday, admitting that she received material, non-public information about IBM, AMD, and Sun Microsystems and shared it with her boss and others in the hedge fund industry. Instrumental in the case against Chiesi, wiretaps, and they will be front and center in the trial of the key man in the Galleon case, Raj Rajaratnam. Here with us by phone this morning, Robert Heim. He's a partner at Meyers Heim and a former assistant director of the SEC's New York office. Robert, it seems like a victory for prosecutors on the surface. Danielle Chiesi, the 16th person to plead guilty in the Galleon scandal, but perhaps a victory only by half. She may have pleaded guilty, but her lawyer says she's not cooperating with prosecutors and she's not naming names.
Well, I think that's right. The prosecutors had clearly hoped that Danielle would have cooperated with them and testified against Raj at his trial. Usually these insider trading cases can be won very easily when prosecutors have witnesses lined up. But that's not the case here. She just made a straight guilty plea and entered into a plea agreement with the Department of Justice.
Robert, are you surprised that it took this long for Chiesi to plead guilty, given the fact that her boss had pleaded guilty and many of the people whom she allegedly received information from had also pleaded guilty?
Well, Danielle was certainly one of the last holdouts. I think what really convinced her to plead guilty was a ruling about 2 months ago that the judge had indicated that the wiretaps could be entered and used as evidence against her at trial. This is a very novel use of wiretaps in an insider trading case, and the defense lawyers had challenged their use because insider trading is not one of the specific crimes that's authorized under the statute to be used for wiretaps. But I'm not surprised. I think that ruling really led her to plead guilty.
You know, you point out that this ruling came back in November. Why didn't we see a guilty plea sooner? And why is it, I mean, given the fact that wiretap evidence has been ruled admissible, you know, what hope does a guy like Raj Rajaratnam have left? It just feels, again, and I say feels because it's purely impressionistic, that with the guilty plea from Chiesi, the noose has to be tightening around the guy's neck, so to speak.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Raj has got to be feeling a tremendous amount of pressure to plead guilty at this point. About 5 of the 6 defendants who were arrested with him when this whole case started have already pled guilty. He's the last person that has not. And the wiretap evidence does seem to be fairly convincing. I think he's going to have a hard time convincing a jury he's innocent of insider trading charges. But so far, he's insisting on his right to go to trial.
We put up one of the quotes captured from the wiretap of Danielle Chiesi, and of course there are similar quotes captured from Raj Rajaratnam. Given that you're on the phone, I know that you can't see it, but we're showing our audience once again. Here's a question for you, Robert. The prosecutors are recommending a sentence of, I think, 36 to 47 months in Chiesi's particular case. Is that long enough? There are a lot of people who might be wondering, given the fact that she held out for so long and she's not cooperating, whether she ought not to spend more time in prison once her sentencing comes around.
Yeah, I'm surprised that she got such a favorable deal from prosecutors. A lot of times, sentences are driven by how much money a defendant is alleged to have made. In this particular case, Danielle was accused not of personally profiting, but her employer, one of the hedge funds, made profits on the trades. So that may have been one of the factors that prosecutors weighed in arriving at this sentence. It is fairly light, and it may have been something that her lawyer spent a good deal of time negotiating.
Now, we talked about what this means for Raj Rajaratnam. His trial is coming up late next month. Robert, how about the wider insider trading case, the one that has involved expert networks and a number of other hedge funds in and around the New York area?
Yeah, the Raj investigation has spurned a fairly large investigation of other hedge funds, and the U.S. Attorney's Office has indicated that those investigations are ongoing. We've already seen a significant amount of progress made and arrests made with respect to hedge funds that are accused of using these expert networks to obtain illegal inside information and trade on it. That's certainly going to be an ongoing investigation as the U.S. Attorney feels that this is a very widespread problem and more people are likely to be charged in that case.
Well, Robert, I suspect we'll have reason to talk to you again about that very case. Insider trading, it appears to be a rampant problem, one that the U.S. Attorney here in Manhattan clearly has no patience for. Our thanks to Robert Heim. He is a partner at Meyers Heim and a former attorney at the Securities and Exchange Commission.